Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lara, or Lara Likes Mascara. Today's video is a very special one as it has been long requested, long awaited. I've been promising this for a long time, but I was just never ready to do a full makeup collection inventory until now. I mean, I still don't know if I'm ready, but I felt like it was time. I knew I needed to do it before the end of 2021, and so here we are. I am a bit worried that this has been a little bit too hyped up by myself and those of you who requested the video. I don't feel like my makeup collection is actually that exciting, especially as a YouTuber. I know that most makeup YouTubers have massive collections, you know, they get a lot of PR, they also spend a lot of money on makeup, and they have a lot of the newest releases, especially a lot of high-end makeup. That's not my collection, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because I think a lot of you are in the same position. So I don't feel like I have the most glamorous, or definitely not high-end or nicest collection. I would say more than half of my collection, for sure more than half, probably more like 2/3 or 75% of my collection is from the drugstore. I would say at least half of it is pretty old, not just in the sense that like I've had it for a while, but also people don't talk about most of the products that I own anymore just because I've had them, you know, for ages. But maybe that's helpful for you if you feel like you have a similar collection to me and you can't at all relate to people like Samantha Ravindal, Julia Adams, Jackie Aina, you know, name whoever. Even people at like a smaller level like Kelly Gooch. I feel like she has a much larger and much nicer collection than me. But I don't necessarily think it is just what your collection is, it's also what you make of it, and this is what I always talk about because I have been on a makeup no buy for so long. If this is your first time to my channel, the end of 2021 will mark the end of 3 years on a makeup no buy / low buy. The first 2.5 years were no buy, and then the last 6 months have been low buy. So I brought very, very little into my collection, and I have decluttered a lot. I have panned a lot of things, and so my collection is much, much smaller than it used to be. And my goal used to always be to have as large a collection as possible, and now I want it to be really, really curated. Not necessarily as small a collection as possible, but as curated and ideal to my standards and my liking as possible. So my ideal collection I think looks a little bit smaller than this. There's lots of progress to be made on my collection, but I feel like I have done a lot of work. It's much better than it used to be. I do kind of wish that I had made a video like this 2 years ago, or even before that, like before I had even thought about going on a makeup no buy, just so that I can see the comparison between what my collection used to be and what it is now, and then think about how much further I have to go and what's next. But I just was not ready to make a video like that. But I am today. So without further ado, let's just hop into it. This is my full makeup collection inventory as someone who has been on a makeup no buy for a long time, and as someone with what I consider to be a minimal makeup collection. But keep in mind, minimal is super subjective. I actually did a whole video about this. And while I may have a minimal makeup collection, for someone who is on YouTube talking about makeup compared to most of the population, I probably have a bigger collection than like 70% of people, I would say. But to me, I have a much more minimal collection than I used to, but I want it to be even more minimal and even more curated. So hopefully next year I'll be able to do a video like this and my collection will be even better and even more minimalist. So let me know down below if you think my collection is minimal in the first place, if you have a larger collection or a smaller collection. I would love to hear that. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the video. Oh my goodness, here we are. This is my full makeup collection inventory. I just wanted to start off with a shot of everything. This is all of my makeup. The rest of the video will not be this chaotic, but I kind of wanted to lay it all out, even just for myself, because I don't know what it all looks like. I've never put it all together like this, apart from, you know, when I've had to move. But yeah, this is everything. So I think I'll just go over it. This is my stand-up makeup thing that you see in the background of my videos sometimes. This is a basket with all of my like miscellaneous, mostly palettes, honestly, and a lot of like blushes. That's what that one is there. That is my daily makeup bag. All of this stuff is either, some of that is my daily makeup bag. This is new stuff that I have not yet opened. This is my lip container that I put a lot of lip stuff in. That is single eyeshadows, and then that there is some brushes and mascaras. Now, I'm not going to be including my brushes in this, I'm just showing makeup, but that's part of it. So let's go into the categories now. Okay, that took a while to set up, but here we are. This is not just foundations, but also primers and concealers. And as you can see, I don't have a huge number of base products. So I have one primer. This is from Becca. I've had this for ages and I really need to finish it. When I had it and when I used it, I was obsessed with it. I loved it so much. But now I don't really love primers and I don't find that it makes a huge difference, and so I never reach for it. But I really have to because there's not that much left and I've just had it for so long. And when I got that primer, I also got this foundation. I purchased them together. I was looking for a foundation and they also gave me a primer sample. Like I sampled both of them and I love them both so much that I decided to get both of them. I don't think I love this anymore just because it's so high coverage, but I haven't gone back to it in a long time. So when I finish off this Tarte one, that is when I will go back to it. Then I have this CoverGirl foundation. I do really like this actually, and I don't think that there's that much left. And we have the Tarte foundation. This has been in like all of my videos because I'm just trying to get rid of it and I talk about it constantly. And then my Sol concealer. This is the MAC Pro Longwear concealer. This is my second one. This was a backup that I purchased before I finished the first one. This is too high coverage for me. Again, I just don't prefer this kind of high coverage anymore. So I think, honestly, in 2022, if I can finish off all of these, I don't know if that's possible, but that would be ideal. I would love that. I would love to just like start fresh with base products. Okay, here are my 4 bronzers. I actually didn't know that I only had 4. That makes me very happy because I'm not a huge fan of bronzers. I might be missing one. Throughout this whole video, it is very possible that I will have like neglected 1 or 2 items here or there, but I think this is it. So this is my current Project Pan item. I have been working on it for a year, but it is nowhere near close to finished. I'm not going to show you how much is left. Not going to give a spoiler today. My next most used one is this from the brand Personnel. This is a French or Quebec brand at least. And you can see that like some of it has gone down. I can't remember what that's called, but the like impression in there. So I've used this somewhat, but look how massive this is. Like it's just such a big pan compared to this. See how much product is in there. 25 grams compared to 9.4. Oh my God. Oh, that's horrifying because this has taken me all year and it's like just over a third of the size of this one. Oh God, I will have this for the rest of my life. That is scary. Then we've got this Physicians Formula. You can see I have not used much of this at all. That middle blush color I've used some of, but the bronzer itself I don't think I've used very much. This is probably one of the least reached for items in my collection, so I do need to get some more use out of it for sure. And I guess it's also a blush, but more a bronzer. And then this is my most recent one. This is a Kevyn Aucoin Sculpt and Highlight duo, or the contour duo. I've actually never reached for this. I still have the plastic on it. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by it, but I've just been so focused on that NYC bronzer that I don't reach for this, but I really have to. Oh my God, I just forgot about one of my bronzers. One sec, I remembered. There we go. This is my last one. I don't want to show you what's left of that, so we can just look at this. This is a duo, but I'm just going to count it as a bronzer. You can see I've got some progress on there, but not very much because this is such a dark color. Like compared to this, I don't know if you can tell, but it's just a lot darker. So I haven't reached for that very much, but I do like how dark it is just like sometimes for a contrast. There we go. These are my 5 bronzers. Okay, here is my blush collection. This is a lot. I actually did a full blush collection video about a year ago. I think it was November or even December of 2020, but it hasn't fully changed, but it has definitely changed significantly since that video. I believe I have acquired 2 new blushes and I have either decluttered or panned at least 3. I think I had 14 previously and now I have, I'm not going to count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm actually quite happy with that. I've gone down 2, so that's great. First, I'll just talk about this. And this is like supposed to be a sheet with blush on it. I've never used it. This is probably dried up. And I keep being like, oh, I should try this. And I don't. But 2022, mark my words, I'm going to try this. There's, how many are there? 30? 20 sheets. Okay, so I could get this knocked out in a month if I set my mind to it. Will I? I guess we'll see. Cream blushes, I've got these two and this Revlon one. I am not a fan of cream blushes at all, so this might be getting decluttered soon. These ones I am okay with, but I definitely don't love by any means. But this one, I don't like the formula, I don't like the packaging, none of it. Then we've got these two. I'm currently working on this one, trying to see if I like it enough to keep it. That has broken off. And then this is the same blush, but a different shade. This one has no shimmer in it whatsoever. Bourjois Pig and Rose Garden. Let's do Tarte blushes because I also have two of those. This is a regular size, this is a mini. Exposed and Party. I've entirely finished off my Sephora gift one, so I got a new one. Love it. This one I actually have not used very much because I found that I just liked Party better, and I got this because I wanted to replace Party but try a different shade, and then upon trying it I was like, I still like Party better. So I went out and got Party, but you can see that I have not had much experience with that one, so I probably should, because I don't have many of these like more browny nudie blushes. As you can see, they're mostly very pink. Let's do MAC. I rarely reach for this. I'm not sure why. I think it's because it's so pale. There definitely is color payoff, even though you wouldn't think that that would show up. But yeah, I don't reach for it much. I think it's very, very powdery compared to my other formulas. So not sure if I love that. But I like having something that's a different shade because so many of these are so similar in shade. This one is from Kiko in the color Sunset Pomegranate. Love the packaging of this. Super pretty. A little more corally than the others, which are just like strictly pink. But I don't use that too much, as you can see from the indents. Gotta get more use out of that. This used to be my favorite blush of all time. It is in the shade Mellow Wine. Although looking at it, you would not think I'd used it that much, but oh, I reached for this so frequently. I cannot believe that there is so little panned, essentially. This has gone through 2 new repackagings since I purchased it, so very old, but no signs of slowing down. And then this Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. This I got just because it was so hyped back in the day. Still a beautiful shade, although a bit more shimmery than I like to go for, but I appreciate that it's more coral. Love the packaging on this as well. And then we've got this one, which I was working on project panning all year before I realized that I liked it too much to use it up. So I haven't decided if I want to keep this in my project pan or if I want to save it and work on something else, but I do like it. This is like a super cheap brand from the UK. I think my grandmother got me this, and yet I love it. This is one of my favorites for sure. Did I do all of them? I think I did all of them. I should probably show you these shades. These are pretty similar, I would say. This is a bit darker, this is a bit more peachy, but yeah, just don't love cream blushes. Okay, we've got face palettes here. I only have 3. Let's start with the Hourglass. This is the most recent. I got this less than a year ago. It was secondhand though. I didn't love this as much as I expected I would, so I actually haven't gotten much use out of it, but I have this in my current Shop My Stash in my daily makeup bag. If you are interested in watching that video, I posted it just last week, so I will link it right here. But yeah, trying to see which of these shades I like best and if I like it more now. This is the next most recent one, although I've really gotten very little use out of this. I'm not really sure why that is. It kind of feels like so fancy that I don't really want to reach for it. That's dumb, but I do that with a lot of products. Got a beautiful blush there. Yeah, I really like this blush just because it's so different from the like pinky blushes that I have so many of. And we've got a bronzer and then a highlight. Beautiful shades. Kind of hard to tell because it's so dark out, so I have my lights up really high. Love that. It also smells like chocolate, which is interesting. And then I have this one. I got this in the UK at some point when I thought it would be handy for traveling. I've got a lot of use out of the blushes. I don't think I've had very much use out of that bronzer because look how dark it is for me, or the highlight. But I do really enjoy this for the blushes. We just have 2 face powders, so 1 loose powder, 1 pressed powder. I think I realized I like pressed powder better. It's just like easier to control. I have no idea how much is left of this because it's such a massive container, but I've been working on this, I would say 6 or 7 months now. I want to get this finished before I start on that one because I've had it for so long. And this is just from CoverGirl. I've owned quite a few of the CoverGirl pressed powders and I do quite enjoy them. This is in the shade Warm Beige. That's all for that. Okay, this seems very bright just because this is pure white. Let's start with the cream, I think, because I only have one cream slash liquid. I mean, it says liquid, but it's not very liquidy. It's very creamy. I do really enjoy this and I'm happy I have it just because it's the only cream highlight I have, but sometimes this doesn't go super well with blush. And then I have this one, which is a powder, I think, technically. Doesn't really say, but it's very, very creamy. Like, it's kind of bouncy. And I actually use this as an eyeshadow more than a highlight just because it's kind of dark for my skin tone. But I thought I would include it in the highlight category anyways, because I don't actually have that many highlights. This is one and the same. I'll get to that in a second. This is from Becca. I love that it's a mini. I love that it's in the gold packaging. This is Rose Quartz. It's pinky, which I adore. This is currently in my Shop My Stash because I just have not gotten enough use out of it, but I love the color. I find it's actually not as blinding as it looks, but maybe that's because I'm used to this MAC highlight, which is like very, very blinding. So one day this took a tumble in the bathroom and a bunch of product fell out onto the bathroom sink. And so because of that, it looks like this is almost done, when in fact, I just put the remaining product in here. Like, it wasn't in the sink. It was on like the counter close to the sink. Since that happened, I've been working on using this up, but there's still a ton of product left. And it just kind of makes me sad because like I don't need 2 containers for this, you know? And I prefer this much better as a pressed highlight than as a powder one, which is essentially what this is. But anyways, this will take me a decade to finish off anyways, because it's so massive. Like, what is the size of this? 10 grams. Yeah, that's really big for a highlight, I think. And then we have this one, which I purchased because I enjoyed that one so much, but I really don't like this highlight. It does nothing for me. Maybe it would work for someone with a different skin tone, but for me, this doesn't show up on the cheeks at all, and I can't even use this as like an inner corner highlight or anything else. So pretty disappointed with that, but haven't decluttered it yet. Those are my highlights. Hello! End of Act 1. I fully had the intention of making this one video, beginning to end, my full collection. I figured it would be a longer video than usual, but I did not expect it to take nearly 3 hours to like set up and film, and then for the actual content itself to be over an hour of footage. So I figured it would be better to split this up into 2 videos. After I saw that there was over an hour of footage, I was like, I can't make this one video. So this is the end of part 1. I hope you enjoyed. Don't worry, the next part will be coming next week, so next Saturday at 11 a.m., which is my usual upload time. I will be uploading the second part of this video, which includes my whole lipstick collection. I feel like that's the bulk, the majority of that video, as well as mascaras, eyeliner, single eyeshadows, all sorts of fun stuff like that. So when I filmed the intro and outro of this video, that was when I thought it was going to be just one video. I just want to explain that I filmed that before I filmed the actual inventory. So I didn't know it was going to be 2 videos at that point. Anyways, this is long enough as it is, so let's just quickly talk about the book that I'm reading lately. This is called Carceral Capitalism by Jackie Wang. I'm not quite halfway through this book. This is actually a textbook. It's interesting. I haven't read a book that like doesn't really have a proper cover in quite a while, but this is very interesting. I think you can tell by the title if it would be a book that you're interested in or not. I wouldn't have picked this up on my own because I actually wasn't aware of it. I'd never heard it before, but it delves deeper into a lot of topics and issues that I have been learning about through my schooling, but also like in my own personal interests and the kind of books that I've chosen for myself. It focuses, yes, a lot on prisons and how prisons operate and the ways that race and class are really interconnected, but also the ways that debt works, especially in the US. This is by an American author, and how capitalism kind of in one way or another incarcerates all of us just in the ways that we are kept in debt. Yeah, so obviously that's a very simplified explanation of what this text is, but super interesting, quite dense, but I would recommend it. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week with the second half of my makeup inventory. I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye. That's everything. Oh my goodness, I've never seen it laid out like this, except for about a year ago when I moved.